Good day, everyone. God bless you. Welcome to my channel. Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 24. The Bible encourages us that we should rejoice because we know and understand that God that delight in justice and exercised justice and mercy upon the earth. A Christian should not rejoice in the vanity of this world. The vanity, everything you see in life, everything that is physical, everything that people brag about, they are all categorized as vanity because no matter how many houses you build, no matter how many sophisticated car you buy, those things will stand the day you will pass away and they will not help you. Even after you have gone out of this world, those things will not be remembered again. They won't be anywhere around you. That is why it is called vanity. It is an empty thing. It is a thing that appear to be, but indeed they are not. The true thing is eternal thing. Knowing God, understanding God's character is the most important thing. And that's what a believer should focus on. Know the God you are serving. Understand the character of God. In that place, the Bible emphasizes that God is just and that his justice is a cause for rejoicing. For example, Jeremiah 9:24 highlights that God delights in these things, which include loving kindness, justice, and righteousness. Those are the things that God delights in. Loving kindness, justice, and righteousness. Loving kindness, loving people, being kind to people, justice and righteousness is what God delights on. And then as a believer, we must align our heart to be able to love those things that God loves. That's why in the olden days, part of the ordinances that God gave to Moses to Israel is, if you are building a house in your compound, make sure you make an extra room, free, especially for people that may be traveling, because they travel by land or by horse, and probably they are traveling at night. Caught them on the way, they will come to you and have a place, to relax themselves and eat and drink in your house. Those are part of the kindness and the gesture of God nature, which the Israel practice. Kindness, loving kindness, that is what we are called to. Why the Bible speak of God ultimate justice, it also acknowledge the presence of injustice in the world. This does not contradict the idea of rejoicing in God's justice, but rather emphasize the importance of actively seeking justice and fighting against what we call oppression. This is the life of a believer. Jesus also lived like that. He was not just a passive believer. He was not just saying, well, let me concentrate on making myself a better person and a better version of myself. I don't want to get into trouble by fighting something I do not understand. No, that was not the life of Jesus. Jesus speak against injustice. He fight against those who are oppressing others, and that's why he's always against attacking the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the chief priests and the Sanhedrin, because their teaching and all their program and all their system is all about injustice, collecting from the poor and heaping it up for some group of people who call themselves by title, who have refused to work but want to live an easy life. So as a believer, you are not only to rejoice in God's loving kindness and justice, you are also to fight, because that fighting against oppression is a fact that your heart is aligned with God. Remember, the blood of Jesus speak for mercy for the oppressor, for them that are oppressed, but speak of judgment to those who are oppressing others. That's the blood of Jesus. The Bible also encourages rejoicing in God's action, such as his providing for people and his judge to the wicked. We should rejoice in that action, because at the end of everything, God will wipe the wicked away, and every wealth of the earth will be given to the righteous, and they will be happy forever and ever. Rejoice in this whenever you see poor people suffering and the government are taking everything, and then they are not giving anything for the poor. They budget everything for themselves and more, and the poor are left to languish. It pains our heart, but we also have another line of rejoicing, because God is coming to destroy the wicked and hand over the earth to the righteous. God's people are called to uphold justice and righteousness and ensure fairness and equity in all areas of life. That is what we are called. That's why we are saying that the religion organization of these days are not built on truth, because we are called to justice, to equity. That means equality and righteousness. That's what we are called into. How come you call people and say you are serving God, and in the midst of that serving God, you build a system that is worse than even the politics of this world, where it is autocracy? You are the only one that has the final say, and whatever you say, that's how it is, and everything is kept only to nourish you and your deputies. It is a wrong system, and such as it is wrong, we know it cannot glorify God, and it's not for God. It's not done for God. It's done to fulfill the will of man. Finally, in the essence, the message that rejoicing in God's justice should motivate believers to live in a way that reflect the justice seeking to bring about fairness and righteousness in the world. That is what believer is all about. We should show light to the people, and that light begin practically in our own midst. When believers live together in one accord and justice are done in their midst, one day maybe God will bring those who are unbelievers, who are into all this injustice, and they will come and see how justice are practiced in the midst of God's children. Maybe they will change. But when you call a politician or those who are sucking the blood of the nation to a church where the pastor is over everything, the pastor have everything, and the members are so poor, that's just the same picture that the world are projecting. Capitalism, and those who find their way to the top are behaving as if the earth belongs to them, and they see people at the bottom as the downtrodden, as people who are destitute, but they don't call them with any fine name at all. They call them a derogative name, and they don't care about them, and they forget that what they are using to make themselves fine belong to everybody. So we should acknowledge the justice and loving kindness and the nature of God in the world, and uphold it and walk by it and rejoice in it. God bless you.